Hello, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. Imagine having a website with great offer, great product, and an amazing design, but you do not have any traffic on it, any customers. What could be the issue? The issue could be that Google do not know you. So if Google does not know you, maybe your customers do not know you either. So today, during this 1-hour webinar, we're going to introduce you to a bit of a checklist that you can use in order to improve that, improve your situation and solve that issue. I'm Sylvia.
And I'm Claire, and we're both e-commerce experts here at Odoo. And we work every day with hundreds of customers to improve their SEO strategy. So what we're sharing today is our checklist on how to optimize your website and make sure that you can appear in the top results. So if you're ready, let's get started. So first off, the main question that everyone asks themselves is, what actually is SEO? So basically, SEO it means search engine optimization, and it covers all the techniques that you can implement in order to improve your position of your website on the search engine results pages, so on the Google page. As you can see here on the slide, these are all the elements that you can try to improve in order to make your website go to the top of the results. So it goes from keyword research to the writing of the content, to building the links between your pages within your website, to getting backlinks from other websites. Anyway, we will cover all of these elements in the next slides. So first off, let's start with the three main pillars that we will focus on today. So the first one covers everything technical. So it goes from user experience to speed, sitemap creation, and so on. Then we have the second pillar, which is about linking, so the website structure, the links between your URLs, how your website is built in terms of hierarchy between all the pages. And finally, the on-page content, so how to actually write content and include the keywords, so basically the searches that people are doing on Google, how to include them within your content and other types of SEO tags. So we will see that in more depth right after. So a big question also is, how does it work and why do we work on our SEO? So how does it work? Basically, Google or Yahoo, Bing, and so on, all these search engines, they will crawl websites. So they will discover new pages and basically classify them in their little folder. And when they have access to these pages, they will scan the content, try to understand what it's about, and then index them. So what does it mean? It means that your link to your page will be available in the results of Google when someone makes a search. And then those search engines, so like Google, will rank those links with each other. So how can you rank the highest? It depends on the quality of the content and on many other factors that we will go through afterwards. And of course, your goal is to end up at the top on a specific query. And so why do we work on SEO? Well, it's to be at the top so you get more visibility. You end up having more clicks to your website. If you're an e-commerce, the goal is to sell products online. If you're a lead generation website, it's to get more leads. And then in the end, you get more revenues. Another hot topic is GEO. So you've probably heard about it. AI has been completely changing the way users and everyone basically gathers information or try to find information. So I'm pretty sure that many of you in the past 24 hours have used an AI chatbot like Claude or ChatGPT and so on to ask them a question. So now that customer journeys have changed because of AI, of course your SEO visibility will be a bit impacted by it, because now people are looking for information and when they end up on your website, most of the time they're already aware. So their whole funnel of conversion is really different from before. And so we have to adapt our strategies, of course. And yeah, you need to work on it with the time in which we are now. And so GEO, what does that mean? Basically, it's the same as SEO, but for AI bots. And you have two different types. Either you are being cited within the answer of those AI bots, This is called AEO. Or you can be included in a AI-generated summary or overview. I don't know if you've already tested it, but on Google now, when you ask a question, you get an AI overview section that directly answers your question. So here the goal is to be referenced in those answers. And AI used a tool that's called RAG. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but basically it means that they are still searching the web in order to give you an answer. So in conclusion to this, it's important to still have an SEO strategy that is well-refined, because GEO is basing itself on SEO in order to optimize your website for AI bots. So this is really important to keep in mind, and we'll go into more details about it. So even though the goal between both is a bit different, so meaning SEO, traditional SEO, the goal is to win the click, and GEO, it's to be mentioned. Well, in the end, you still have to optimize your website in order to do GEO. So that's where we'll start, and then we'll give you a bit more tips on how to do GEO for your website. But first, let's go into our checklist that is divided into 6 main areas. The first one being analytics and tracking. So this is really, really important. It's the first thing you need to do before making any changes to your website, because what you cannot measure, you cannot improve. So it means that if you cannot compare what has been done before to what is going on now, well, you don't have a reference point. And this is what we always try to do with our clients when we first start a project, is to install at least those 2 type of tools. The first one being the Google Search Console, which basically is the window into which Google sees your website. So it really gives you indication on how does Google see my website. And it gives you information on what pages are indexed, what keywords get a lot of traffic, what are your performances in terms of visits to on your website, the click rate, and so forth. And then we also suggest installing either Plausible, which is already integrated within Odoo, so you don't even need to go outside of your database for online databases, and or Google Analytics, which both give you very interesting information about your customer behaviors. So how long have they stayed on the page? Where do they come from? What page is not converting really well? So it can give you information on, for example, if you're selling, like your main product is not selling really well, maybe it's giving you indication that you should change the descriptions or the images because it's not like giving enough information, so people are not engaging with it. So really important to start with those 2 tools. So let me show you for this super beautiful website how to configure your Search Console. So basically, as I said, the goal is to get graphs like this to understand the total of impressions and clicks, but also for each page, if there are errors that can come out, like, for example, if a page is not indexed for some reason, you get the reasons here. So it's really interesting. And in Odoo, it's super easy. You just need to go in the settings and follow the steps here. So this is the first tool. And for Plausible, you just need to go to the analytics section. I hope it's going to work. It does. So here we don't have a lot of traffic on this website. Unfortunately, it's not working really well, so we still need to improve it. But here you get normally information about the sources, the top pages, and the total visits on the website. Right.
So how about the technical SEO? So in here, we're going to introduce a bit of a theory, so do not get bored very quickly. We'll go into the checklist just right after. The good thing is that Odoo takes care about nearly everything. So we're going to go through quickly those points and explain you a bit how Odoo takes care of that. The first one being the mobile responsiveness. So basically, the website builder is built on Bootstrap, which basically automatically adapts your website on different supports, such as the mobile, the computer, even tablets. So you don't have to do anything. It also optimizes speed thanks to JavaScript and CSS optimization. It uses what we call lazy loading, meaning that the content is only loaded when you're on it, on the website, and if not, basically other images and contents are not loaded. When it comes to images, it also optimizes the format. So whenever you use an image on Odoo, it uses the WebP format, which is a format that keeps the quality of the image, but makes it way less heavy. Another thing is Odoo generates an XML file that basically reference all the URLs of your website. So how to check what are the different URLs? You can basically add a sitemap. After your slash, you can just add sitemap.xml, and here you'll see all the different URLs of your pages, which are the published pages, of course. And so this is basically the structure of your website, which is also optimized by Odoo, thanks to, such as like schema markup and so on. It also avoids any dead links automatically and manages canonical tags. So basically, Odoo helps search engine understand which page is the main version of your website so that we can avoid duplicate content. You'll see that duplicate content is one of the things that we would like to avoid. So Odoo does it, let's say, does the first step of avoiding it. We also have a clean HTML code, thanks to the building blocks. So if you do not know, the building blocks are basically the ones that you use thanks to the website builder. So if you go into the website builder, these ones are called the building blocks. And so thanks to that, we do have like a clean code in Odoo. It also generates the SSL certificate. It basically authenticates your website and secures user connection. So you don't have to do anything in regards to safety. When it comes to multilingual support, so most of the website have more than one language in there. So whenever you have more than one, what Odoo does, it basically uses what we call the href tags, meaning that instead of considering those as being duplicate pages, it will just add the tag and mention to and give the information to the search engine that this is the same content but in another language. And also in regards to indexing, it indexes the main pages and desindexing the ones that are not really useful, such as like the 404 pages or even the ones that exist by default, for example, the thank you page that is used a lot. So what you can do on your website, because this is basically all the checks that Odoo does, so you don't have to do really anything. But what you can do is one of the first thing is check your robots.txt. So what is the robot.txt? Is basically a configuration that you have on your website. If you scroll at the bottom, you have this thing, and so basically it lets you add any information to which pages you would like search engine allow search engine to see, to crawl or not. And so if you click on edit robot.txt, it gives you like some rules that you can use. So disallow, basically do not read them, or allow, force the search engine to read them. Keep in mind, search engines such as Google and others that we mentioned have like a specific time of reading all of the pages. And so in order to force them to read at least one of the pages, the main pages that you would like to, let's say, show off, you can add them into the robot.txt. However, if you do not want to force anything, you can just check the robot.txt and make sure there is nothing in there. Check for indexing. So as you said, there are some things that are done automatically. However, you also have the hand on deciding which pages are indexed or not. So as Claire already explained what is indexing, in here, just an example of the static pages that we have on Odoo and the information if it's indexed or not. So here we didn't do anything, and as you can see for the thanks page, for example, it's not indexed automatically. However, if you create new pages and you would like to index them, you have the hand on it from this menu or even from this menu right here. Delete duplicate pages. So as you mentioned, and we will go even in depth a bit more after in the slides, but duplicate pages, we would like to avoid them. What does it mean? You may have different pages with similar content. We want to avoid that. So what you can do is either delete one of the two pages. You can merge them in order to create like one main page with all the information, or you can also use canonical tags for it in order to specify which one is the main and avoid checking the other. And when it comes to broken pages, so we want to avoid having them. Claire already showed that in the Google Search Console, which is not here, which is here, sorry. You can see it right here. And so if your pages are not indexed, you can see the reason why. And so usually what we have is the reason being 404 page not indexed. So keep an eye on it and make sure that it's really what you would like to have in here. What else? We also use what we call page speed. So it's really interesting to give you an insight of your performance of the website. So page speed is basically like a page that you can go on. So you can just type pagespeed.web.dev and you can add the URL of the website right here. So we added our jewelry store right here. And what do you have as information? You have two things. You have the first one being on mobile and on desktop. So you have two different performances criterias. And basically it gives you like a score per criteria. You have performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO. And as you can see on desktop, we apparently score a lot better than on mobile. And apparently we can do some things regarding the performance. And so what you can do is when you click on there, or even if you scroll it a bit, you have a lot of insights, and so it gives you an insight. It's not like let's say the right science or correct science. You really have to think that it's only an insight. It's not like being like the final score of your website. It's just like an idea of the performance of your website. And so in here you have some insights, some diagnostics, and so you can check a couple of things. Keep in mind you won't be able to improve all of the different insights that they will show you because some are more technical, not related to something that you can do. But some of the times they will show you, okay, maybe you have some image that are not optimized or too heavy, or like a video too heavy. So this is mentioned in there. So this is something that you can do whenever you have a website, and what you can do just to check basically the performance of your web. And they're giving us what we call core web vitals. When it comes to image, adapt the size and the name. Of course, most of the time we forget about the name, but it's also important to have a correct name added. And when it comes to the size, as I said, we already mentioned, the WebP format is the one that we use. It is used automatically on Odoo. However, sometimes if it's not, you can still correct that. So if we go on our website right here, you can see one of the images. So for example, for this one, if I click on there, you can see on the right in the website builder, there is a section regarding the format. And so in here you can click and see, okay, these are the WebP formats suggested. And as you can see, the quality is getting lower with that. And you can also have like the original, which is the one that we would like to avoid on Odoo websites. So just check that for every image that you have. Make sure that you're using a WebP format and not the others. Maybe something that might be a bit logical is avoiding heavy contents. We do not prefer using any autoplay videos. We prefer using GIFs instead, and also avoid any extra scripts. So on Odoo, you can add some custom code to the website. You're allowed to. However, make sure that you're using it whenever you add it on the website. So whenever you add some custom code, for example, related to Google Tag Manager, and you are not using it, please just remove that, and it will improve the speed of your website. And the two last points are related to the mobile responsiveness. So what you can do is basically on your website, you are able to see with this button right here, either go on by clicking right here, or you can go into the website builder and click on this little icon. And basically it gives you like a view on your website, but on the mobile phone. Why is it important? It's because whenever you create a website, you should think about your version on the mobile. However, if there's something that you would like to adjust, imagine that this block is not really showing as you would like on the website, what you can do is just click on the block itself, and here you have the visibility. And so you can decide, I would like to hide it on the desktop or hide it on the mobile. And so if you hide it on the mobile, you can just create another one that will show better, and you can hide this one for desktop. So it's basically like personalizing a bit your website for the mobile version itself. So this is practically everything for the different checks. So what are the tools that we use? I already mentioned the Google PageSpeed Insight. We also use what we call the Screaming Frog. What Screaming Frog does, and let me just show you right here. So basically, Screaming Frog is just a tool that will help you crawl every page of your website. And as you can see, it already started. And thank you. And what it does, it's basically crawling every page and showing you what could be the potential issue on this page. Unfortunately, I cannot zoom it more. I'm not sure how to do it. But you can see in here, you have a couple of sections that you can go through, and basically 4 different, let's say, criteria of your website, which ones you can, which improvements you can do. And so at the right, you have issues, for example. And so to give you like one concrete example, this one is an easy one. You have the H1 missing, for example, for all of these pages. So it means that you need to create one title that is the heading 1 called. We will see that later as well. But you need to create one for those pages because they are missing. And so it gives you an idea of, once you have your website created, what are the different improvements to do. And I think that's it for technical SEO.
Yes, now let's talk about content and keywords, which is where you will have the most impact, actually, in order to optimize your website. So what is a keyword? Basically, it's a word or phrase that matches what users will look into on Google, on search engines. So it can be one word, it can be 4 words. This is one keyword. And why do we actually look for a keyword? Well, it's basically to appear every time someone makes that search, and you need to include that keyword into your content, otherwise you won't appear in the results. So the goal is basically to look for keywords that you think your potential customers will look for, and include them into your content. So of course there are tools that you can use in order to do that. We'll go through that part right after. But what is your checklist in order to look for, to start your keyword research? Basically, first you need to identify what are your core topics, the main themes you want to talk about on your website that represent your brand, your products, your services, and so on. Then, once you have your topics, you need to identify around those themes a semantic field. So you need to find alternatives, you need to find synonyms maybe of the theme, and it can be secondary keywords or long tail keywords. So long tail basically is a longer word. So if, let's say, an example, our topic is around necklaces, Sylvia, what do you think people will look for?
Maybe like pendants or like silver necklaces, like gold necklaces as well.
So basically, all of those words are these are the semantic field around necklace. So it can be gold necklace, silver necklace, pendant necklace, chain, and so on. So you need to build a list of all the words that you think your customers might look for, and in the tools that we use, we have indication on is it a good keyword or not. So one thing that is super important when you're making that search is that each page of your website should target one main keyword or one main theme, one main topic. So the goal is to avoid, again, to have duplicate content across your pages. Otherwise, Google is not going to understand what page to show when someone looks for gold jewelry if you mention that word multiple times within the content of 2 pages. So the goal is to make sure one page talks about one topic, and if it's not the case, then merge the content. Otherwise, you might have what we call cannibalization between 2 pages within your own website. So it's a bit of a shame because you're reducing ranking potential for both of those pages. So now, how do we select those keywords? So basically, you can use a lot of tools are available to do that. At Odoo, we use for our customers either Google Keyword, Google Ads. You have the Google Keyword Planner within that app, or SEMrush. SEMrush is the one we use the most. And within those 2 apps, you can check what is the volume per month for the search of that word, how hard it is for you to rank for it. Is it a word that is more, where the intent behind it is more informational, more commercial, and so on. So you have a lot of metrics that are given by those tools. And the goal is to basically interpret those metrics in order to select the best keyword for you and for your page. So you need to evaluate how hard it is for you to rank for it, and how much is it searched for per month. If it has a 0 search rate, then it's maybe not that interesting to select it. But you still need to find a balance, because if you're trying to rank for a word like jewelry, for example, there are huge brands that are very present online and that you will not be able to compete with if you're a small Belgian brand. So you need to look integrate keywords in your content where you have leverage. So in order to do that, you need to conduct your analysis and check at the metrics. And if I can give you an example, we did the test with the word necklace. And sorry. Okay. Here we have a selection. So as you can see, I have added a lot of words around the theme necklace in order to find words that can be associated with that specific topic. So what we get from it in the most searched and where the difficulty was the lowest. So of course, the lower you have, the lower the difficulty, the better chances you have on being able to rank on that word. Well, the main topics were gold chain, gold necklace, layered necklace, pendant. So the words you said were
I was right.
Right. Silver necklace, and so on. So this gives also us an idea on how should I structure my product catalog in this case, because necklace is maybe a bit too generic. I want people that look for gold chain to end up on my website and on the specific product category, gold chain. So this will help us actually build our website structure. So not only you get insights on what are the best keywords to integrate into your content, but it also gives you an idea on how to structure it based on what people are looking for the most. So another thing not to bypass is the local aspect of SEO. So if you are a local brand that you have an activity that is in a specific area, it's really important to associate a maximum of time that keyword with a local word like Brussels, Belgium, Flanders, Wallonia, whatever, London, and so on. So it can be a specific page for a jewelry shop, for example, where you won't only say jewelry shop, you will mention the city. Of course, it makes a bit of sense, but it's important to do it. And if you have multiple shops, for example, you can create different pages for each of them. We will show you an example afterwards. And another thing you can do in order to improve your presence online in the search results for your shop pages is to create a Google My Business profile for each of those pages, shops, and then link those to the pages that you created on your website. So local aspect, really important, and try to include it in all the SEO tags that we will see right after.
So what about the website structure? In here, Claire gave us already a couple of things that we will use to create our website structure. So once you analyze your keywords, you should already have an idea of the structure that you would like to implement. The structure of the website that we call sitemap. And so why is it important before getting into our beautiful structure of Luma? It is really important for the search engine, sorry, they need to find you easily and find the information easily. And so, as I said, they have some time to do it. And so, if the website, sorry, has a great structure, they will find the answer really easily and very quickly. When it comes to the second goal is basically, of course, to give a easy navigation for your users. So the customer should be able to find their what they're looking for easily on their website. And so we will improve engagement and it will reduce the bounce rate of your website. Everything should be, let's say, pretty easily of access. So at least a few clicks from the homepage. It should, of course, have some relationship between the pages. You'll see a bit how we did that on our website, and add some internal linking. We also see in the next slide what is that and what are the different links that you can do. And basically, another thing to keep in mind, we do want to avoid any orphan pages, meaning that there are pages that just exist by themselves. They have no links with other pages, and these ones we would like to avoid since they do not have a lot of impact on either the website, the users cannot find it, and the search engines either. So what have we done for Luma? So as we said in here, we have some potential already, like categories and pages that Claire have found us. So it gives us an idea of, okay, maybe I should have a category for pendants, or I should have a category for gold necklaces. In here, what we have decided to do is to have our structure set up this way. So we have three different menu items that are pointing towards our boutique. So we have the first one being new arrivals. So in here we have created like a specific category that will only gather new products that we launch on our website. And this one, just to give you a bit of a context in here, if I go to the category of my website, I decided to configure it as being what we call standalone categories, meaning that there is a category that will stand alone and not be included in the shop. And so how you can do that is by clicking on this Not in Shop checkbox. And what does it do? It creates a category that you can use on this website as such, but it will not be included in our general shop in here. And so it helps basically just categorize a bit more your products, structure them a bit more. You can use that, for example, we use it for new arrivals, but you can use it for some promotional products, for example. So this is one of the first things that we did. The second thing is the boutique, of course, and we also create like a gift cards menu. For the boutique, we have like the main categories right here. And so thanks to Claire, we have created some subcategories. We didn't do that for all of them, but you can get the gist of how to do it. And so for the necklaces, basically we have created 3 subcategories. Keep in mind, this is how we create relationships also on the website between the pages. And so in here we have the pendant, chains, and layered necklace, because I saw that from my keywords, these words and these words were ranking way more than other ones. So I will put an emphasis on them on my website. And so I have created a second layer of category. We can of course go even further and create another one. Just keep in mind, do not create a lot of subcategories, because it can get messy and you will have the structure of your website, mainly of your shop, might be a bit messy if you create, let's say, more than 3 or 4 subcategories into the shop.
Levels, you mean?
Levels, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
And we also have Luma World, so just a page for our brand. So we have added some information about our shop and so on, and some testimonials, and of course our great ambassadors. We also have a Visit Us page. So this is related to the local SEO that Claire mentioned. Of course, in here we do have 2 different shops. What did we do with that? We have just created a page with the presentation of the 2 shops, and of course have created a link to a page, one for Brussels and the other one for Antwerp. And lastly, we have the blog and, of course, the contact us page, which is like a main a menu item to have. But for blogs, it's really interesting. We'll discuss that more when it comes to the content of the page. But having a blog is really interesting when it comes to keeping up with keywords and keeping up with the contents and the searches that your customers are doing. The searches can change throughout the time, meaning that whatever you're searching now might not be the same in like 3 years. And so blogs are creating articles might help you and help your brand answer those questions. And so this is how we can create. We have created some categories in there as well. So interesting point to interesting thing to use whenever you would like to insert some specific keywords and content to the website. And so, regarding the linking, as I said, here what I just showed you, one of the examples that I showed you was internal linking, meaning that you link one page to another page of your own website. It helps, as I said, structuring a bit more your pages and your website, and it also passes authority from one page to another. What is interesting to have, and a bit more, let's say, complex to have, are backlinks, meaning that you're having links towards your website, but outside your website, meaning that one partner, one customer, I don't know, can create a link towards your website, and this is called backlink. Why do we do that? Is because it makes your website perceived more trustworthy, and also it can also pass some SEO performances basically from one website to another. An example that we like to give is, for example, for our brand, it's so nice and so famous that apparently Elle Belgium wanted to mention us. So they have created an article where they mentioned our website, and so it helped our website to pass on, let's say, what we call the SEO juice from their website to ours. So this is an example of what you can do. Of course, it's a bit more complex, and you can basically ask some partners, some customers to do that, and
or you can buy them.
And you can buy them, and you can also do it your own on your website as well. There you go.
Right. So let's now talk about how to include those keywords into our beautiful structure that we created together within the content of all the pages that we decided on. So there's not a minimum word count for a page, but of course, if search engines cannot read any content on your page, it's going to be hard for them to understand what it's about. So you still need to add at least some paragraphs, a bit of descriptive text on each page. That's especially important for categories. Most of the time people forget to do them, but it's really important. So here, don't try to just write content to write content. Make it really useful, high quality, and relevant for your audience, but also for search engines. Try to balance both. It's never great to over-optimize because your text might be read. It might be a bit heavy to read. But try to integrate a maximum of time the main keyword of your page that you decided on and alternatives to make it a bit more smooth. Make internal links into your content, as Sylvia said. So if you're writing a blog article, try to make a reference to a product maybe that you can use to, I don't know, like if you're making an article on how to clean your jewelry, link the cleaning product, for example. Or at the bottom of the linking, like the cleaning product, put a link to the blog article. So yeah, as I said, add product descriptions, category descriptions, write blog articles. This is a really great opportunity to target keywords that you wouldn't be able to target elsewhere on the website, but also address questions maybe that users are asking themselves. And you can use also those for AI content that they can use to actually answer what people are asking. Try to update and refresh your content often because a static website is never ideal. You need to show that your website is active, and try to avoid AI-generated content. You can use, of course, their help, but try to always add a bit of human touch to your content with your tone of voice so that Google doesn't think you're just a robot website. So let's go into details about where and how to add those keywords within your content in Odoo. So here are some recommendations on how to write what is called the metadata, so meta title and meta description for one page. So you need to do this work for every page of your website, from product to blog to static pages. So in order to do that, you need to go, let's say I'm going to do the new arrivals page. I need to go into Site, Optimize SEO. And here, since version 19, we have the AI option here that is based on a prompt that we wrote ourselves with our team, actually, to make sure that it complies with the recommendations that are on this slide here and more. So here it's going to write a description that should be okay for search engines, and this is what's going to be shown directly on the results page. So if I make a search for gold jewelry, for example, let's see what appears. You have the sponsored content that's not SEO, that's SEA, so we're going to ignore this section, and right here you start to have the SEO results. And so this is what I have when I typed gold jewelry. And the goal is to have a nice looking snippet that is called, like this one, where you have a picture, some text, and a description. And so if you do this into your database, this is what it should look like. So you can maybe change the picture here so people will be more likely to click on it and then maybe convert and purchase. Let's save this. All right. Next, and of course, I didn't mention this, but you should add your keyword within those sections. So if the Odoo AI button didn't do it for you, you can do it outside or just rewrite it so it does. Then the next tag you need to work on is the H tags. So it can go from H1 to H6 in Odoo at least. And it helps build the structure of your page. So it's just like when you're writing an essay, for example, you will structure your essay with titles, subtitles, and so on. This is exactly the same for one page. So in your page, you need to add your titles, subtitles, and sections. And for each of those sections, have them, add a title. And in this title, it's really important to add your keyword or your variations of keywords. And it's also super important to only have one H1 per page. Don't have more than one. Try to have that H1 also different from one page to another. You cannot have duplicate content. Again, very important. And try to follow a logical order with your titles. So let's take an example on our homepage. So here, if we go in Edit, select our text. This is supposed to be our H1. It's the case, so that's nice. You can just change the type here if needed. Then we'll move on to our second section here with the shops. So this is an H2, H2, and H2. That's also a good thing because they are at the same level. And then if we go down again, this is also an H2 in the format. So that's all good for me. Maybe we could have added here a little title, and then these could have been H3 and then back to H2 if we want to really improve it. And then in all of those titles, try to add your keyword again, as I said, and try to include it naturally. Don't overstuff it. Then we have the alt tags. So this is for images. So this will help your images show up in Google Image a bit better when someone makes a search. So you have two ways of improving those alt tags in Odoo. Either you're going to Site, Optimize SEO, and here you will have a section now for the optimization of your images where you can start to describe. So this is my homepage. I want to have the main keyword be the name of my brand. So here I can add it like this. Or second option, I can click here on the image, and here you have a description where you can add the alt tag. So here I will add Luma Jewelry Brussels, for example. So I have my local element in there. Right, so this is for the images. This is also important to do for users that have visual impairments, maybe, where they make your website read by some tools. So this gives them a description also to know exactly what the image is about. Then we have the strong tag. Basically, in your HTML code, you will just have that little those like strong in brackets in before and after the word that you put in bold, and this just gives more readability for users, and it gives Google another sign that this is a keyword that you need to include in the content. So you just need to put it in bold, basically. Super easy. Again, the blog, try to write your content in there for topics that you wouldn't talk about elsewhere on the website and that people are looking for. So topics that people are looking for and where you can provide an answer. This is also like another entry point to your website, basically, that you wouldn't have on your categories. So try to use long tail keywords for the keywords, like the blog article, sorry. And yeah, this is also like a backlink opportunity where you can reference other brands and they can reference you. And it also allows you to refresh your content and make sure that your website seems active because you're actually writing new articles all the time. Maybe I can show here for my necklaces category what I mean by writing content. Here we have a description for this category where I added gold necklace, silver necklace, rose gold necklace, because these are words that are important and then that are in the semantic field of necklaces. And then we created subcategories for pendants, for example, where I have another description where I made sure to include the pendant necklace keyword, and here again. So I can do something about it. Maybe I can highlight them by making this word in bold, putting it in bold, like that. And what's nice on those category pages is that you don't really have an H1 title, but actually you do. If you don't activate the H1 here, show title, here you could, but you don't need to. If you did, this would be the H1, but if you don't, it takes what is in the breadcrumb here, this word here, actually, as H1. So you don't need to do anything about it. Odoo is gonna do it for you. And for each product, again, try to write very descriptive descriptions. For the URLs, it's a good thing that I'm on a category because actually there are two different types of URLs. You have one type of URL for the static pages. So for example, our homepage or this page here, visit us.
And maybe explain what are static pages.
That's why I want to show. Yeah, okay. Maybe this one here, sorry. Okay. So this is my Brussels page for our store. So this is a static page that I built from scratch, where I just edited it and added my blocks here. For those type of pages, if you want to change the URL to make it really clear and add your keyword in it, not make it too long, you need to go into site properties, and here you can modify it. So if I wanted to change, I don't know, the URL for some reason and add Brussels store in it, it's really important to redirect the old one to make sure that when people now click on just Brussels, they are not ending up on the 404 page. So always check this box. It just takes 1 second and it will create the redirection for you. And then the second type of page that we have are the dynamic pages. For example, category pages, product pages, blog, events, and so on. These are all dynamic pages. And to change the URL of this one, you need to go into site and optimize SEO, and you will have a little section here for custom URL where you can change it. The first part is static. You cannot change that, but this is where you can do it. So try to make sure your URLs are short and include the keyword in the URL if you can. Last thing is about multilingual websites. Sorry, hard to say. Sylvia mentioned it in the beginning, but Odoo handles it for you automatically in terms of HTML version ranking, like version indexing and so on, because you have automatically the hreflang tag that's included in the content, and only the right version will be shown if you come from a navigator that is set up in English, or if you come from, I don't know, France, it will automatically be in French, the results proposed in Google. So what's important is that, as I said, each version can rank on its own in the search results. So if I'm based in London, I want to see the website in English, I will see it in English. And this is what will rank and what will be indexed. But now if I'm in France, I want to see it in French. And I can see the French version ranked too highly in the results. So this is something that is handled by Odoo automatically as soon as you add a new language. Here you can just click on there, select the language you want to add, but then you need to translate everything. So thanks to our newest version, Odoo 19, you have a translate to button that works with AI. So it translates the whole content of the page automatically for you. Of course, check again if it's done right, because sometimes it doesn't get the nuance of the words. So that's for the content. But now you can also translate your metadata. So for that, let's say I will go on the French version of this page. And now I want to translate it. So here I will just edit translate and click on French. And here it will translate my whole page for me. Takes a few seconds. Right, so I'm pretty happy with the results. Let's save it. So now my page is translated, products are translated, the category, subcategories too, and the main one, the description, and so forth. But if for this page I have written an SEO description, meta tag, sorry, description and title, I will do it now, save, and I want to do the same for the French version so that when people are searching for like the page in French, they can see also the snippets in French. They don't see it in English. You need to translate it too in this section while still being in the French version of the page. So here I should translate it. I'm not gonna do it, but I need to change it, and then it will translate the metadata for me automatically. Right. So for the rest, I think we've seen everything. Try to use local keywords, of course, because from one country to another, the words can be a bit different. The search intent might also diverge. So just pay attention to that. So when you're translating your website, these are all the elements that you need to think of when you do. So you can translate URLs for dynamic pages, the page name, the meta description, title, as we saw, and the content, as well as the alt tags in the content. So here I don't really have an example, but it's super easy. You just need to be in French, click on the image. I'm just going to show quickly. Click here. Sorry, maybe. Yeah, here, sorry, it's over there. So you can change here the alt tag too. Right. Let's talk again about GEO. So quickly, you need to understand what people are searching in AI tools, because it's going to be a bit different. The way they're going to ask the question is going to be different from before, where they used to only look for a keyword. And think about, put yourself in their shoes. Usually people are going to look for comparison content, how-to guides, stuff like that. So try to include that with your blog, for example. That's a good way of using your blog. Try to still do SEO, as I said. You need to structure your content, have bulleted lists, because this is content that can be reused by AI easily. Make sure that you are also mentioned outside of your website. So make sure you have backlinks, that you are cited in forums, maybe in articles like El Magazine for the Luma brand, for example, if you can. Make sure you have PR coverage, that you are included in best of lists and stuff like that. If you can, monitor also what's going on within with your website within those AI answers. Try to do it. I know that there are a lot of tools that are being created right now, of course. But try to do that just like we saw with the Google Search Console. Try to be visible also before competitors. So try to see what is mentioned when you're making a search with an AI tool. And make sure that you appear before the others. And most of the super most important thing is to continue making traditional SEO. Try to write high quality content that can be used by AI, but also by Google, just to show your results at the top. because good SEO is the foundation for good GEO. Right.
Perfectly said. So, regarding the last point that we will see is regarding the migration. So, basically, if you're having a website, it's either you have created it from scratch on Odoo, or you already had a website somewhere else on another software. And so, it's very important whenever you move from one website to a website on Odoo, it's very important to keep a couple of things in mind. What are the things? The first one being the redirections. So of course, at some point you would need to add your domain name. So the domain name will stay the same from your website to the new one. However, on Odoo, whenever you create the same pages that your old website, the URLs might change. So for example, the shop page on the other website was /boutique, for example. On Odoo, it's called /shop. And so in order to not lose any traffic of it and mention that to, let's say, a search engine, you need to create what we call redirections. And redirections are there to say, okay, whenever I go to my website in here on Odoo, it's now called shop. So I'll just remove the FR here. So it's called /shop. However, on my other website, it was called /boutique. Same for other, for example, contact us. We have like let's say basic URLs that are defined. Of course, you can change some URLs exactly as Claire showed you right here, so you can do that. However, whenever you cannot change them for all, so for products and for categories, because you saw here, when we go to one category in here, if you change basically it's not here, if you change the URL from the category itself, you cannot change everything from there. You need to keep the first words and then the ID of the page as well. And so you cannot really change that. So how do you do it? You need to create redirections. And if you go to configuration redirections right here, as you can see, we have the redirection created by Claire already automatically by Odoo. But basically what you can need to do is, for example, for our Contact Us page, you can just create give it a name. Here you can specify that you're moving permanently because you're moving from one software to Odoo, so it will be moved permanently. And then you specify from which URL we're moving to which one. So let's say this one was called Contact in the other website, and now it's called Contact Us. You just need to add it right here. And so you're not losing any customers if they have the order saved, and you're also redirecting all their search engines in order to basically find the right pages that you have published and not the old one that are now basically not existing. And so this needs to be done before you change the domain name. So it's really important to do that because you lose the traffic if you not do it beforehand.
Very important.
Very important. And last thing that we wanted to mention is regarding the URLs. Do not worry if you change the name of the product. The URLs of the products update automatically. So if I go to for example, one earring, let's say, in here, if you change the name of this in the backend of Odoo, the URL will update automatically as well. So you don't have to create any redirections regarding that. It will be done automatically. And just to sum up everything, we have linked here a magic sheet that explains practically everything in 4 different pages. So you can have a look at there if you want to. Yeah, maybe I can click on. See?
So maybe in the search bar you can just type odoo.com/r/magic SEO. odoo.com/r/magic SEO, and you end up on here.
So it explains a bit what is SEO. So really all the different things that we have mentioned today are explained there. So it's kind of like a summary. It's not as perfect as we did today, but it's kind of like a summary. You can use that for anything else, just to remind yourself some specific points. So regarding our SEO service, of course you are expert. Of course we are expert in Odoo, in SEO. So we do offer a service in that. We have a full team that does it. And how are we doing it? We have two different packs. We have the 4-hour pack and 25-hour pack. So if you need some help, you can of course go with one or the other, whatever you prefer. However, the analysis is of course a bit different if you choose the 4-hour pack and the 25-hour pack. But imagine you have chosen the full one, where we do the full analysis. For the 4-hour pack is mainly whenever you already have a website, you already launched something regarding SEO and you want to, let's say, fine-tune it a bit more. However, if we do a full analysis, how do we do it? We really do like a thorough analysis on the SEO of your website, really personalized one. We create, let's say, like an audit based on all of the pillars that we just showed you today. We analyze the keywords, we analyze the structure, the content, practically everything. And we create like an audit for you guys, and we basically present it. It's not only presenting what you can do and what you can improve, it's also
helping you.
Sorry?
Helping you.
Helping you as well. And by helping you, we also train you. Because, of course, it's interesting to improve SEO at one point, but it's even more important to keep that updated throughout the time. And so we train you basically on how to do it, why do we do it, and what are the things that you can set in place. That being done, it's not because everything has been done regarding SEO that the project and your project, your website is done. We also have a go-live support, meaning that once it's launched, we do track a bit more for a couple of weeks, a month, how our improvements doing. And we basically check if there are other improvements to do, what worked, what didn't work, and we do an analysis on that as well. So it's like a full analysis, like a 360 analysis of SEO from scratch or not, whatever you prefer. And so in here we do have linked our service SEO site.
So it's odoo.com/services/SEO, and here you can meet someone if you're interested. You have a bit more information. Here you can find our great team, without Sylvia, actually.
Yeah,
she's missing. And yeah, you can meet an advisor here to get more information on the actual offer.
And lastly, regarding more general, let's say, Odoo, you do have the possibility, if you're interested in SEO, I suppose you're interested in Odoo itself as well. So you do have like flexible plans. You can start with only one application. So keep in mind, in Odoo, you can start with only one app, which is one app free. You don't have to pay anything. Keep in mind, whenever you use, for example, e-commerce, you do have, I think it's website, e-commerce, and invoicing, right? You do have all of those applications that are free. So you can basically launch a full business only, on Odoo, without paying anything. However, if you go up than only one app, you go into what we call standard or custom plans. Standard is just like adding more applications, so you can have more than only one. And custom is basically when you integrate Studio. Studio is just like a tool that we use to personalize a bit more your database. So these are like the two plans that we offer. Of course, in only one subscription. So if you get a subscription, if you need to get a subscription, you have the possibility to access all Odoo apps. So it's not only website, of course, you can add other application if you need to. And you do not need anything, only in Odoo. So basically the full flow of your website, of your business can be done on Odoo directly from scratch. And what is included? We have hosting, maintenance, upgrading included. Everything is included, the support as well, and there's no hidden cost. We are basically, we're trying to be as transparent as we can regarding the cost, so everything is included. If you are interested, you can scan this QR code, to have more information about the pricing, and you can also calculate your cost thanks to that. I will maybe stay like a couple of seconds in here, just so you can scan it if needed. And you have another code where you can use to ask someone as help. Maybe you're not really convinced that you can answer all of your needs. You can just contact like an advisor, and of course you can. But if you need to have more conviction regarding that, you can scan this code and try to talk a bit more with one of our advisors. Thank you for listening to us. Do you have anything to add?
No, maybe we can go on with the questions.
So regarding the questions that we received, the first one being, will this be available on your YouTube channel to refer back to? Of course it will. You will find them, basically all our webinars on replay on our YouTube channel if you want to review them again.
Second question from Shabdulbazit, 26, asked, where do we rate our website on Odoo? Recently new announcement of Google that SEO changes into geo, what Odoo perform for it. Anyways, the question I think is about how does Odoo follow with the new, let's say, requirements from Google? Well, we really try to be up to date with the newest requirements that Google launches. So we try to update our platform with each version. So of course, if you are at the moment in version 16 of Odoo for your website, it's not going to have the best SEO because of course in the recent years it has changed a lot. So what I would suggest is to wait for version 20 that is coming out very soon in September, and you will be able to upgrade a bit later in the year, but I would suggest to upgrade to that version so you can really benefit from the latest functionalities, yes, of Odoo for the website that will follow the requirements that Google has launched recently.
Another question from Gabiud. I think. The results of Google PageSpeed test of my Odoo websites are very bad. How to improve the performance? So keep in mind whenever you're testing a website on the PageSpeed, Google PageSpeed, it gives you an insight. It's not the, let's say, the final score of your website. So really take with let's say with a step back. However, if it ranks bad, as I said, it's really, you can go into the insight, really go one by one and check what you can do to improve it. It's really well described. You can use, you can try to understand a bit more. As I said, you do not have a hand on everything, so it's fine if you cannot do it. If you cannot change it for everything, yeah. Another thing to keep in mind, for PageSpeed, they're also taking like the worst case scenario. So for example, if you go a bit down, you see that they're using, let's say, a Wi-Fi that is like the baddest one on the planet. And so it gives you a bad score related to that as well. So that's why keep that as an insight and not like the final score of your website, basically.
And you can reach us.
Or you can reach us as well. Yeah, good point.
Right. Next question. Can we... No, what was it? Can we add custom CSS code as a block on our website using the website builder? Yes, you can. You have two different ways of doing it. Either you, if I show you in the database, either you use edit, and here you can look for embeds, and here you have an embed block where you can add your code directly in it. I would suggest using this because this will be maintained if you upgrade in time. This is the first option. Or you can also inject some code in the head and in the body of the website. This will also be upgraded, kept with the upgrade, because it's actually stored here in your website settings in the backend. So it won't, drop if you're upgrading. It won't break because from one version to another, as we said, like the blocks can be very different. So if you are using this one, the third option, you have a big banner that says your changes might be lost. So if you're making any changes, as I said, in that section, you can do it if you want. You can edit the code, but you need to make sure that you save the code somewhere. So if it breaks with the upgrade, you can just put it again in the content.
Yeah. So basically, this is called a personalization, just adding code. And so with versions, with upgrades that maybe you do not know, sometimes it's not kept in the upgrades. That's why we recommend using the embedded code instead of the other one. So coming back to our question, last one is from Erica, I think so. How do we know what version we are on? And this is also, if you go into the general configuration, you can scroll down in the general settings, and at the bottom you have the information on which version you're on.
Right. I think this is our last question. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us today. And
we hope you learned something.
We hope you learned something and that you enjoyed it. And maybe we'll see you soon. And well done.
Yeah.